Thanks for listening to the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network, brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos Tequila is brought to you by those who drink it. You know, Father's Day always means the U.S. Open in golf, usually late in the afternoon after a lot of things are done. Maybe you still have some basketball or hockey to contend with that night. Right now, we didn't today. The scheduling they were off is both of them await Game 5 after lopsided Games 4. But we wound up with some real drama in golf, which was good because golf has been less than exciting in recent days and weeks, and yes, even the last couple of years after the split, because we miss players like DeChambeau, who is off with LIV, and really his transformation into this fan favorite, into this incredibly popular figure, has really taken hold, and his missing in action on most weeks will be a bigger factor going forward, because right now he might be off this win as popular figure as there is in golf, and quite interesting. And that's Tiger Woods aside, and there's not anything left of Tiger Woods' game legacy. DeChambeau has really transformed himself, not only as a golfer, but also as a personality, because he now has gone out of his way to connect to the fans. And tonight, 2.5 hours after winning in dramatic fashion on 18, where he had to really hit a crazy second shot as he had to deal with a tree and then deal with a root in the ground, and he got the ball into the trap, and then he had to get up and down out of the trap to win the tournament, which he did on a long bunker shot and then making a putt, something Rory McIlroy couldn't do. He won his second U.S. Open, but 2.5 hours later, he was still signing autographs for the fans. Not 5 minutes later, not until the cameras left. 2.5 hours later, he was still out there signing autographs. So he has taken this role as the people's choice now extremely seriously. And it just makes his absence that much tougher to take, because right now golf needs somebody like DeChambeau there on the PGA week after week. Now, this tournament had a lot of drama. DeChambeau started with a 3-stroke lead today. Rory wound up taking the lead as DeChambeau had a lot of trouble finding usually a prolific driver of the golf ball. He had trouble finding fairways today. He was scrambling like mad and found himself 2 strokes behind with 5 holes to play. At which time Rory went into, I'll throw it away not with one hand, I'll throw it away with both hands. He bogeyed 3 of the last 5 holes as he tried to win his first major since 2014. And then missed putts, which you probably have seen by now. If not, you will see many times in the days to come. Missed putts of such short length on 16 and 18 for bogeys that it was mind-boggling. He missed from 2 feet 8 inches on 16, and then followed it up missing from 3 feet 9 inches on 18. I mean, this was unbelievable as he threw the tournament away and opened the door for DeChambeau to make his comeback, which he did, and get back even, and then win it as McIlroy bogeyed 18. Now, this was a crushing, disastrous defeat for Rory, who is usually very good with the media, and who today not only said no to NBC, he said no to everybody, did not go to the podium, did not meet the media after, hopped in his car, and left the facility immediately. So you can imagine just how crushed he was with his complete collapse. At the same time, the new fan favorite was exulting in his dramatic win on 18, making a putt that so was the direct opposite of what McIlroy was doing, made the putt on 18, and then triumphantly stormed around, took photos everywhere, did interviews everywhere, even went into the trap because it was the long bunker shot that wound up giving him the victory. Well, really, it was the second shot, which was impressive, just getting it to the bunker, and then the long 55-yard bunker shot that set up his somewhere around 4.5-foot putt that got him a par and a victory on 18. He even went into the trap and posed with the trophy in the trap. But now DeChambeau has taken his rightful place, not only as the people's choice and as this popular figure, but he joins a group that, hey, you want to be a part of. He is just the fourth player in the history of golf to win a U.S. Amateur and win the U.S. Open more than once. The other three, well, they're only the three greatest golfers of all time. Bobby Jones, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods. That's it. When you're on a list and it's a four-man list and the other three are named Jones, Nicklaus, and Woods, you are in the rarefied air. You are in as rarefied an air as you can possibly be in. And that's what Bryson joined today, that trio. Now they're a quartet as he wins his second Masters. He won during the pandemic in front of nobody. He won the U.S. Open in 2020. He now wins a second U.S. Open. He almost won the PGA. He continues to play very, very well and is the one live player who took the live money but comes back here and plays very good golf. Nobody else really does on a performance-by-performance basis. Now, this was a rare tournament because Scheffler wasn't there. It was finally a tournament where he did make the cut at +5 and then just went about his business on Saturday and Sunday and finished a very un-Scheffler-like +8. I mean, he's already won 5 tournaments this year and is usually knocking on the door in every single tournament, but this was a rare weekend off for him. But a big win, a really career-changing win for DeChambeau, and an incredible, historic, tragic collapse by Rory McIlroy. Rory McIlroy has been pumped up, has been the darling of announcers year after year. They continue to pick him, even though he never wins a major. Does he have talent? Yes. Can he drive the ball brilliantly? Yes. Does he have trouble putting? Yes. And did his putter let him down again today? Yes. In an enormous way. In a crushing, tragic way. Listen, there are tournaments you will never get over. This is one. I don't care how many he plays. This is one he will never get over. That's how bad this was today. That's how crushing this loss was today. This was as crushing as it can possibly get. This was as bad as it can possibly get. And like I said, a huge win for DeChambeau. A bone-crushing loss for Rory McIlroy. Now, kudos, we got to say it, to the Mets. 5 straight, 8 of 10. A couple of days ago, we said to you if the Mets were going to move, they're going to move because of Martinez and Diaz. Martinez has carried the team. Diaz has looked better. Today, he got help from Lindor. He got help from Alonso, who's been in a slump. Had a homer, had 5 RBIs. And the Mets went on and won their 5th straight. Can they possibly make a run at 500? Well, it's not going to be an easy trip here starting in Texas. And remember, the Yankees will be visiting Citi Field next Tuesday and Wednesday. So there's some tough games to be played. Let's see how the Mets handle them. But give them credit because they have shown life in the last 10 games. They have shown life. And they have gotten a lot out of Martinez, whose bat has really given the entire lineup a big lift. So kudos to them. It at least needs to be recognized. We'll see how they do. We'll see how they do going forward. You know, they got to hit the road right now. They got to, handle things if they continue to at least get solid play. Won't be easy. Won't be easy in the days to come. And remember, like we said, the Yankees are right around the corner. The Mets are going to the Cubbies on Friday. They'll see the Bombers at Citi Field next Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, the Yankees went up to Boston for the weekend. Very late in the season for a Yankee-Red Sox first meeting. Yankees showed up on Friday night. The Red Sox showed up on Saturday and Sunday. 8 runs in a win on Saturday. 9 runs and 9 stolen bases. A Red Sox record. 9 stolen bases tonight for the Red Sox. Score 9 runs. Put the Yankees away. Win the series. As the Yankees get ready to play the Orioles. Yankees and the Orioles, we talked about, are going to have confrontations like they haven't had in many years this year, starting Tuesday night at the stadium. But the Yankees' inability to hold runners on, the Yankees' inability to throw guys out, trying to steal, has to be watched. Now, some teams run a lot, some teams run a little. We'll see how much the Orioles, who are in the middle of the pack as a stolen base team, I think they've stole somewhere around high 40s. But the Red Sox tonight go out there and score and steal 9 bases. Basically embarrass the Yankees. And that tied the most that the Yankees have ever given up in a game. When you get hit for 9 stolen bases, it's a little bit of a problem. It's something you need to address. I mean, 9 in one game is something that at least we're gonna have a little chat about it. But there have been very few bumps in the road for the Yankees so far this year. And now it's time to see the Orioles, which should be a lot of fun starting Tuesday night. I mentioned that the Yankees and Mets. And remember, I know every year some fool writes how it's played out, the Yankee-Met thing doesn't work anymore. And then, as he says it, he walks into a full stadium on a Tuesday night. Walks into a full stadium at Citi Field where they don't get full stadiums. And then turns around and walks into another one on Wednesday night and then says it doesn't work. It always works. It has differing degrees of excitement that it generates, but it always works. It is always noteworthy. It always makes this city stop and take notice. People always want to go to the games, and I've never once, and I usually, even in recent years, try to get to at least one of the Yankee-Met games. I used to go to all of them, but I try to get to one of them, and I've always been a very big supporter of the Yankee Met stuff. I think it works. I think it helps the season. I think it is terrific because, hey, if a team is bad, which the Yankees rarely are, but and they're not usually hurting for attendance, but the Mets can be in a situation where they need to fill a ballpark, and they need to generate some excitement, and this does, because Tuesday night, and let's be honest, the Mets haven't drawn much this year. Tuesday night, you go out to Citi Field next Tuesday night, and I guarantee you there's going to be very few seats available, if there's any. Same thing Wednesday night. Then back at Yankee Stadium. And that's why it always works, because it's always been that way. It's never not been a hot ticket. And it's always mattered. Even if it just gives the Mets something to either strive for or to talk about or to, stand up and say, hey, notice us, we had a good weekend. We beat the Yankees 2 out of 3. Or we won 2 games in a 2-game set. Hey, the bottom line is it's still fun. And it's still something different. You play a lot of games in baseball against ho-hum competition. Another game against the Marlins. Another game against this team. Yeah, the Reds are coming to town. Or the Pirates are coming to town. But this is different. It's always different. And especially if you have the Yankees having one of their seasons where they feel like the Yankees, and the Mets try to see if they can, in those situations where they are the stepchild, can they step forward and get something done? Have their moment in the sun. And that's what's there. That's the opportunity that presents itself. And when they're both really good, well, then it's even more fun. And that's not the case this year. But you know what? The Mets are hot right now. They have a week to go before they play the Yankees. But if they can maintain that or at least play decent, 500 baseball until those games are going to have a little life. And that's why it works. Now, as far as the Yankees, you're not going to get all upset over the fact that they lost a couple of games to the Red Sox. But the Orioles are going to stroll in to Yankee Stadium on Tuesday night. And you know what? They're going to be tied in the loss column. So the Yankees, who have played really impressive baseball so far, are even with the Orioles in the loss column. They have to prove they can outplay this team. They haven't proved that yet. And they have to prove that they can get consistency where they need to get it in other parts of the lineup. You got to be happy with Stanton's year so far. You got to be happy with Verdugo's year so far. You're not unhappy with Volpe's year so far. But these guys have got to produce in these games. It can't just be Judge and Soto. And I want to see the back of that pen hold up. Now, they're going to get a big lift when their big starter comes back. And he's just about ready to do that. And that's going to give him a lift. There's no question. And that's going to add to what they have in the starting pitching. The surprising starting pitching, which has been good this year. I mean, nobody knew Hill was going to do this. And overall, it's been very sound. And I've made my point about home, so I'm not going to keep making it. But do I think the Yankees are, some automatic World Series team yet? I don't. I think they're going to the postseason. We know that. They're going to win 90-plus games. We know that. Heck, they already got a bunch in the bank. I mean, they're the first team. They're the first team to 50. They're going to get 90. But they aren't automatic. And it doesn't mean they can't add pieces. But it's going to be very interesting to see exactly where this Orioles team is against the Yankees. And I think very equal. I think very, very competitive and very equal. And that's why the games they play starting this Tuesday night are going to be not only important, they're probably going to be memorable. Because, it does matter. It does matter if you win the division. And the AL East is the only division that the team on top doesn't have at least a 5-game lead. And in many cases, more than that. That's it. It's the only one. Cleveland's got 7 in the loss column. Seattle's got 7 in the loss column. Philly's got 7 in the loss column. Milwaukee's got 6 in the loss column. Dodgers have got 9 in the loss column. Yankees, they're even in the loss column. We know what the Orioles can do. We know how good their young talent is. We know where their strengths lie. And it's going to be fun to watch. That's going to be one of the themes of the summer. Like I said, it's been a long time coming. The Orioles have been down for a long, long time. And the Red Sox this weekend, well, the Red Sox are playing a little better. They've got their head over 500. They got some kids. They showed you some speed this weekend. They showed a little pop in their lineup and a little backbone on Saturday and Sunday after getting whacked around on Friday night. You probably thought, it's going to be an easy weekend in Boston. Well, it wasn't. They turned a bad Friday night into a good Saturday night and a good Sunday night. So as we finish out the month of June, there's going to be some interesting baseball to be played. And let me finish this by saying I don't care where Aaron Rodgers was these last couple of days. I don't care. I don't care if he was on the moon. He wasn't where he should have been. And he wasn't where the team needs him to be. We'll see you later.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network.